And I know of subscribers who have told me that their banks have called them and said, look, you got to move your account out of here. And so this is going on worldwide. So I don't believe, generally speaking, that that's safe.
All right,
there's nowhere to go.
Well, you got real problems today because, of course, this whole thing centers around finances. That's the problem, Tony. And certainly what you want to do is diversify. Get some gold, get some silver, get some gold stock, get some money out of the country, or diversify what you have, okay? Okay, fine.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
God bless you. Okay, fine. Well, we've got Tom calling from Chicago. Again, our number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295 if you here in the Central Coast of California, if you got a question. But we are living in very uncertain times, and I think people have to realistically realize we may lose everything we have, because believe me, the forces that are aligned against freedom and against Christianity are very, very powerful. They were powerful enough to take God and prayer and the Ten Commandments out of our schools and to make it a crime to pray to God, at a football game. It's all right to play to all at a football game, but don't you dare pray to the God of the Bible, because these people hate Christianity. We're dealing with a truly satanic conspiracy, and most people do not understand that. If you go into the background of J.P. Morgan, go up on the internet, he was deeply involved in astrology. And, of course, he was involved in the occult. This is why he was able to amass his tremendous fortunes, because he tapped into the supernatural. And there really are supernatural forces out there that can give you wealth and fame and fortune, but avoid them like the plague, because in the final analysis, eternity is a long time. We're only here on the earth for a very short period of time. And right now, we've got Tom calling from Chicago. Tom, do you have a question for our guest?
Yes. How are you fellas doing this evening?
Doing just fine, thank you.
Wondering, with this phony run-up in the equities, our positions that we're holding, let's say I have some utilities, the American Electric Power, which I've gotten killed on, and AES, which is a global electric, it was supposed to be a defensive position. Would you jettison all of this stuff, even with huge losses, or and just stay with the gold and silver related assets? And I have one oil leasing company called Precision Drilling out of Canada. And
all right, Bob, let's get Bob's opinion on that. Bob, what would you do? You're holding utility stocks. You've taken a real loss in them. You've lost half of your investment.
More than that.
More than that. Would you hang on and wait for it to come back? Would you get out of it now and get into gold and silver?
Well, we just had a rally in the market. I consider it a second chance to sell. I would sell everything except gold and silver shares. Just get out and stay out.
Even holding huge losses, you wouldn't, even dollar cost averaging down, you would jettison them at this time, even though the sideways might cause these to go up in the near future.
Well, Chris, but
well,
they might
what
go
you're
down.
trying to do is what professionals do, and you're not a professional, and you've got to trade the market, and you're not a professional to trade the market, so you shouldn't be doing that. So with that said, and incidentally, I was a professional for 28 years. And so with that said, you sell out and get out before the market goes back down again.
Right, okay. And we did take your advice in Mindfinders and Agnico, and they've been sort of heading downward, but we know they're going to head back upward, and real confident in all of those. And even in the bad mining shares, you'd say get out of those, like Ivanhoe and maybe Yamana?
No, I would hold them, because I think we got a move coming up here, and then as stocks move up that you don't care for anymore, then what you do is then let them go. And you've got some good stocks there that you just mentioned, Agnico and Mindfinders.
We've done very well, not so much in those because we've only had them a short time, but we have done very well with Silver Standard, and we look for great things from Mindfinders.
Okay, fine. Well, thanks, Tom. Just
Thank
remember
you.
to
Thank
be
you, fellas.
diversified so that nobody can step on that basket and destroy all the eggs. God bless. Thanks very much. And again, our telephone number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295 if you have a question for Bob. Well, we are in the most difficult financial times. I said, probably, as Paul Volcker said recently, the most difficult financial times in all of history. And I certainly am reading newsletters with people saying that we haven't seen anything this bad in over 300 years. Actually, Great Britain has lowered the interest rate to the lowest rate going back to 1694 when William Paterson established the Bank of England. They've never had interest rates in England as low as they have today. Bob, what are your take on England? Some people say that England is going bankrupt along with a lot of the other nations. What do you think?
Well, I think they are. And they've already, they monetized debt prior to the U.S. doing it through the Fed. And, they've taken over several financial institutions. Their economy is collapsing. The city of London is in the same spot that the Wall Street people are in. And I don't see it returning anytime soon. The real estate market crashed later than ours did, and that is a mess. Exports are down dramatically. 20% of business in England is done through the City of London, which is like Wall Street. And if you're having a big correction within the financial markets and financial companies, it's going to be very terse. Switzerland has the same problem. And as I discussed earlier, they're asking people to take their accounts away. Well, that certainly is going to cost them a lot of business. So Switzerland is not in the position that England is, but they're going to get hurt where one wouldn't think they would. But England is in very bad shape.
Well, Bob, what do you think about the cantonal banks there in Switzerland? Would they hold up better than some of the other bigger banks? Something like
I think they will, but the question is, are they going to ask people to move their accounts? I mean, Credit Suisse said today that they want people from Europe and from the United States to move their accounts out of there.
Why would they want them to move their accounts out?
Because the United States government told them to.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
And because the U.S. said, look, you either do it or we destroy you. This is the way this works.
So
and
actually,
the Swiss have said, well, what can I do? Will every bank do that? I don't know. Possible? Certainly. Probable? Yes. So, we don't know what they're going to do.
Well, of course, this is going to have a profound impact on Switzerland, which has been really sort of dependent upon, of course, their banking industry for many centuries. That is the strength of Switzerland, is that they have had a stable banking. They've been a stable banking haven. And yet, of course, what you're suggesting is all of that is coming to an end today because of the pressure that American Federal Reserve System and America can put on that country?
Well, it's not only Switzerland. 3 more signed agreements last week, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Uruguay. And there's banks in all of those places that won't even accept U.S. citizen accounts, and some of them have already told accounts that they have to leave. Go someplace else. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you have an international dictatorial government led by fascistic United States.
Well, I would think that one of these days, these countries throughout the rest of the world are going to say, we're not going to go along with this. The American government is bankrupt morally and financially. I would think that they would stop investing in America, and if they ever do, why, the whole financial house of cards comes tumbling down.
Well, they already have, Stan, and that's why the Fed had to monetize that Treasury debt, and it's going to continue.
Well, with that, of course, will come the demise of the dollar, the demise of the American financial system, and, of course, the demise of America's leadership of the world. And, of course, well, who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks very much, and we'll look forward to having you on again next week, right here at Radio
Well, thank you very much. I'll be back.
Okay, bye-bye, Bob. And, of course, our guest has been Bob Chapman. I hope you really enjoyed our program.